These are 7 sneaky shortcuts to help you make more money in your business, all right? So doesn't matter what your business is. I'm not selling anything on this. This is pure training, pure helpful advice for you, stuff that I've learned from coaching so many people that I'm just kind of helping you with here. So whatever it is that your business is, if you want to make more money, if you want to have better results, these are some of what I actually call shortcuts, because they're going to shortcut your results. That's basically what we have going on here, all right? So there's a lot of them. I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm going to get through it as fast as I can without talking any faster, because I tend to talk fast. But, you know, who am I? Why can I help you? I am Brenda Gagne. I'm from Tampa, Florida. I've got 3 girls, single mom. I have a partner. His name is Justin Glover. We've been internet marketing partners, business partners for the last almost 6 years now, getting close to that mark right there. And this is basically what I've been doing. After we partnered, we created an event called the Home Business Academy. And it was at this event where we launched our entire company to them and our mastermind program. And since then, what we have been doing is, you know, we started coaching individually. We started coaching in groups. We started doing masterminds. It went into creating products over tons of different things, helping people create their own products. Basically, you name it, if it's on the internet and it's marketing and it's training, we've probably done it. But the reason why we do this is that our mission is to help you on your journey to create a better life for yourself. We do that through different ways of teaching mindset, teaching internet marketing, teaching a business to be able to help you create that dream life. And there's many ways that you can do that. And so however this information is going to apply to you, that's what you want from here. You may not need all 7 of these. You may already do a few of these, and that's awesome. So wherever you are right now, take it, figure out where you are, where can you fit these in, and implement them. That's for sure, because I used this last time, but it's super true. Most people, when they're getting started, they think that success looks like this. It sounds like success looks like this because marketers are really great these days. And so it makes it sound really, you know, awesome and super easy. But the reality is there's a lot of squiggles that happen, and there's very common squiggles that happen for a lot of people after you've been working with them for so long. So the reality is we still want your success to go up, but I want to try to minimize those squiggles for you. And that's kind of what we're here, because most people usually feel like this when they're getting started. They really do. There's so much to learn, and you can start working on it and then you get sidetracked. And most people feel like, how many of you have either felt like this or feel like this right now? Put it in the comments, because I definitely want to go back and look at them for sure. But the reality, what we want, we don't want this. We want your business and your life to feel like this. And when this happens, it's awesome. When you get the financial freedom, that's awesome. That's great, right? But when you get the time freedom and you have things working for you and they're leveraged and you're using tools and tips and strategies, this is actually very possible to have a business that's working like this, okay? So that is the goal right here. How many of you want to be able to have this, right? So that's kind of our goal here for today. So we've been coaching for almost 300 coaching students in the past year. What I did is I pulled out the 7 most common things that either what I found hold people back, or the ones that do this, it helps catapult them into success. So if that's why you're here, let me know. And for those of you that are here live, or even on the replay, if you're on Facebook, or you know, if you have the comment section, before I get started, how many of you right now actually have a business that you're promoting? Now, whether you're promoting it amazingly or whether you're having issues with promoting it, that doesn't matter. How many of you are in a business opportunity right now that you're promoting, and how many of you are actually looking for something? Because that kind of helps gauge me on how I can actually help you also. Okay, so that's kind of my question in there. So go ahead and put that in there. Oh, good, I had something blink. Can I see this? Where is this shot? Okay, over here. There we go. There's all these pop-ups. You guys can't see what I see, but gosh, there's got to be a better way. I think you're just supposed to like ignore all of these little things on here. All right, so we have people that do have a business. You're having some issues promoting it. You're working on it. Yes, I do. Okay, so if you're here, you probably want to know some of these things to help make your business go better, right? If your business was being amazing and you had no issues, probably might not be here, right? Okay, so good. So other people, feel free to put comments in there. And this is what I want to go through right now. I saw this, I didn't like the slide that I had earlier because it didn't make sense for this, and I saw this one and I said, that's what I want, because they had slides right here that the red line just went straight through and cut all of it. And the reality is that doesn't happen. You never just go from point A directly to point Z and it's totally smooth sailing. But it will, you know, technically look like this. But if you have the blueprint and you know the guidance of like, hey, go here. When this happens, then you're going to want to take a left. And when that happens, oh, you know what? It's better if you do it this way. If you have that map, right? That's what you have as a shortcut. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the 7 shortcuts. I'm just going to kind of list them out, and then I'm going to break them down one at a time so that you can, you know, I'll talk about them and so how you apply them and how you use them. And so if you're having anything to take notes, you kind of want that because there's a lot of information in here, and they don't really go from like, you know, this is the most important one to number 7 is not. It's just kind of random and how they went in here. So I'm going to, let's see, pop up into play mode here. You guys can still see this, right? Because I did this last time. For those of you that are on the Zoom call, because now everything else just kind of went away. But if you wouldn't mind typing in like, yeah, I can still see your slide, that would be tremendous, just to make sure that I'm not talking. All right, awesome, perfect. Okay, because that's the benefit of this new technology. All right, so 7 sneaky shortcuts. I call them sneaky basically because they're just, they might seem common sense after you hear about them, but if you're not aware of them as you're going through your business, they just don't get put into action. So thank you guys for answering. Okay, so number 1, the first one, and again, I'm going to talk about them. It's your belief. The number 1 belief that actually determines your success. I'm going to go over what that is. Number 2, it's actually not luck. It's going to be this one. Number 3, the difference between hustle and action. Big difference here, and I'm going to explain that here. Schedule hacks for success, because honestly, it doesn't really matter if you have the information. If you can't fit it into your day, it's never going to happen. The foolproof confidence test, that's kind of a big one, just to kind of figure out where you are. The products that actually sell the best, not everything sells equally the same. And then I actually have some rookie mistakes that I see that I wanted to actually put in here and say, you know what, don't do these. All right, so we're gonna go into the first one right here. Now, the first one is so incredibly important. This one, it's common sense, but it's not when you're in the middle of it. That's probably the most interesting thing, is that if you're coaching people, you can see it right away, but yet if you're inside of it, you don't see it. And we even have, I do that. Like, I'll even ask other people as sounding boards, like, wait a minute, you know, if I was coaching myself, I think I would say this, and then they would see it as a different perspective. So that's this. Every result that I get is my responsibility. If people believed this 100%, the success rate would be way higher. All right, because if you have to be responsible for your success, you have to be, and at some point you know that, like, I'm responsible for my success. But this one right here, I'm responsible for my failure. People don't like this one, all right? Our egos don't like this. We don't want to have to be 100% responsible for our failure. It's way easier, and sometimes easier to deal with, if you throw that outward and say, the reason I didn't succeed is because of him. I didn't get this, I didn't do that. And that, unfortunately, is way, way, way too common. And so this belief right here is what holds people back tremendously. Unless they do this, you've got to take ownerships of all your decisions. You are right now in your life based on every decision that you've ever made. And every decision that you've ever made, you made at the time because you thought it was the best one. So are you where you want to be in your life right now? Are you really happy with everything that there is? Maybe, maybe not, but you have to take ownerships of all those decisions. Because here's the thing, if you don't take ownership of it and realize that maybe it was a bad decision, or maybe you place blame somewhere else, you can never learn from that. So it's a really big deal. And so the journey that you're on right now, it's going to challenge you to change. And that's why I really did put this one. This is the number 1 belief. You got to change. You cannot go make $1 million with the same mindset, habits, and thought process that maybe kept you at $50,000. It just does not. It's not possible. And as you change, you get out of your comfort zone. You have to go do things that make you feel uncomfortable. One of the things I've said forever is get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. I did that. I was so uncomfortable in the beginning, but I knew that this is what I needed to do. And so I went through the very uncomfortable process of getting comfortable with it. So there is a process, and I'm not going to go into this so much because I put these in as bullet points, and there's a lot that I want to talk about, but there's a really big difference between an employee mindset and an entrepreneur mindset. I actually have a training that I talk over an hour on this exact concept because it's fascinating to me. But you have to understand that you've grown up. If you're, if you weren't homeschooled and never went to a public school, then you've grown up with the employee mindset. It's so fascinating when you actually dive down into this stuff. But that employee mindset makes a great employee. It does not make a good entrepreneur at all. And it's one of the things that actually hinders success when you don't have the entrepreneurial mindset. So I don't want to go into that so much, but it's fascinating. But here's something that will kind of gauge where your mindset is. I was in a training a couple years ago, and it was all about webinars. So here's a webinar right now. I'm not selling on it, but if I was at the end, if I had an offer for you, I would say, hey, go buy now, and everybody goes and buys, and I make money, right? That's a selling webinar. And so I was at this training. They're teaching you how to create a selling webinar. That's what it was based off of. And so they asked, raise your hand if at one specific presentation you've made more than $10,000. One presentation, either from the stage or from a webinar, you made more than $10,000. And I was so happy that I was like, yeah, I've done that. And then they're like, what about $20,000? And I was like, yeah, I got my hand up. A couple hands went down, and I was like so proud because that's pretty cool. Make $20,000 coming from a webinar. And then they went on farther and farther, and hands starts dropping down. And then he gets up to $100,000 on one webinar, and there's like 3 hands up in there. Then he goes, all right, $500,000. 2 hands are still up. And I'm looking and I'm like, whoa, like $500,000 on one webinar. That's freaking awesome. And the guy reminds them, he's like, remember, this is just like one webinar, not like you got off and then later on it was just from this one. Their hands are still up, and he's like, $1 million. Both of their hands were still up. 1.3, one guy's hand goes down. So the other guy was like, yeah, I made 1.3 something, $1 million on a single webinar, and it was 90 minutes long. Okay? If you don't have the mindset that would be possible for you, you never will get to that stage where it becomes possible for you. So anything is possible, and that's why I like to share that story. So get comfortable with being uncomfortable because it'll help you grow and be able to obtain that. Right? I remember, and I knew people and know people that have had $1 million days. I'm not there yet. I would love to have $1 million day, but that never used to be comprehensible to me. So of course that's never going to happen. All right. So if you work on this belief right here, then you'll be astonished by how fast success comes to you. It's not the how-to, it's not do this, it's not do this, it's this one right here. And that is why I actually put this one into number 1, okay? So number 2, I'm going to get a little bit foo-foo-y on you for just a second. This is stuff that I never used to talk about because I didn't really believe it until it just is smack in my face, totally true. And when I really started working with people, and I'm a marketer and I split test things, and I just started looking, I said, wow, this is actually like the thing. It's the thing, that secret, when everyone's like, ooh, the secret sauce. If there was any secret sauce, I would almost say it's this one, okay? The reality of what your life is, the perceived reality, because 2 people can live the exact same life and it's very, very different from what they think. But it's what you create. You create your reality. You may have heard that before, but the law of attraction, man, it is so real, and I see it over and over and over again. And so to put this in different terms, people are very familiar with Murphy's Law, right? Murphy's Law, if it's going to happen, it'll happen, the negative. But Murphy's Law is the negative version of the law of attraction. Like if all these wonderful things are happening to you and you have the belief and the allowance that it's going to come to you, it actually comes to you. But if you think at some level some of these negative things are going to happen, or woe is me, that's what's going to continue to keep happening for you. And it's so interesting. But if you've ever, hear people talking about this, or you've ever said this, like, oh, he's always lucky. Why do the bad things happen to me? Right? That type of concept is what this is. So your self-talk determines like the emotional vibration, and that goes out to what you attract. You may be like totally jiving with me and saying like, yes, that is so true. Or you may be like, what? Just tell me what to do, right? This right here is so key. So you got to be really careful about what you say to yourself. Personal development mindset, it's just as important as knowing how to build a capture page and generate a lead, because you're not going to go do that stuff if you don't have the mindset to believe that you can do it. Can you have $1 million day? Do you have any belief that that could happen to you? I know it could happen to me, okay? Because I have the skills, yes, but I never would have thought that was ever going to happen to me before, even when I had the same skills. So that's up here. So you got to be careful about what you're saying to yourself. If you're out there and you're like, you know what, I'm just a little bit too old for this, and maybe you're joking, or I'm just not good with numbers, I don't know how to sell, people aren't listening to me, I don't know, you have expertise, I don't know how to do this. If you're having those thoughts right there, you got to check yourself, because your brain is working at 5 different levels, and there's way more actually going on, but 4 of them are going to work really, really hard to make whatever you say true. That's their job, basically. They don't know if you're kidding or not. They just know that that's what you're saying. So if you're saying these in self-talk, and be aware of what your self-talk is, you're going to be able to either flip your mind around and have some better results, or it's going to go the other way. So you may have heard of I am statements, right? They help attract, like, I am happy, I am confident, I'm attracting wealth, like the I am statements. Well, there's actually an issue with the I am statements, because you have to use them correctly. And right here, it's like, you have to believe this. And this is actually what I mean. So if you were to say right now, I am wealthy, and yet there's a little bit of you that's kind of like, no, I'm not, right? Like, not quite. If there's any part of you that's like, not really, you're going to feel that void. You're going to know that that's actually not true. And so that right there will kind of counteract the I am there. You have to believe that you're already wealthy. And you can kind of feel fake sometimes when you're doing this, but if you can actually feel what it's like to be wealthy, that will help you. So if you don't hang around or have any access to people that are in a better lifestyle situation than you, that's something you want to do. You want to allow that to come into your life, and allow, I use those words, see through their eyes. I used to see through my mentor's eyes and be like, wow, I didn't even know that was possible. I want that. That looks really cool. And so I would start to feel that, what it would feel like if that actually were to happen to me. That is where you have a shift in your business if you're continuously to move forward. So that's number 2. I had to put that in there. I hope I'm explaining that correctly. Does that make sense to you? This is something like, oh my gosh, I could talk for hours and hours on this, but we're going to get into a little bit more tactical stuff. But gosh, guys, if you have the tactical stuff, but you don't do these 2, it doesn't matter what you have. I've taught so many people the same amount of information, and it's just really cool to see the people, it's not, I mean, I wish everybody would have success with it, but the people that have their belief correctly, the people that really stay up high and say, I'm going to do this no matter what, they're the ones that succeed, and the ones that let the responsibility, failures just push them down and they start saying the negative things, they're never going to make it work. So it's really completely up to you, which in reality is actually pretty powerful. It's all up to you. So anyway, the emotion that you have is what can help pull you forward. And hanging around people that have good attitudes, really helpful, because we can't do this all the time, right? All right, so hopefully that was helpful, right? Give me some love, give me some hearts, comments, whatever. I can't see Facebook right now because I'm in full screen, but if you're on the webinar, like, let me know if that was helpful for you. So number 3, there is a difference between hustle versus action. I told you I was going to get to some tactical stuff right now, and so that is definitely what we're going to get into. And so I've always been a firm believer in taking action. I'm a super high achiever, and it's interesting, as I got better, the less action I took, the more money I actually made, because I used to believe you had to work extremely hard and do so much and do so much and sacrifice to be able to get something, because I came from the belief that you have to work really hard to make money. That's actually not really true. You have to work smart. That's where you have to work. You have to work smart. You have to understand what you're doing. And there's a difference between hustle and taking action, okay? So this is a tactical one. Now I'm going to talk about your, like I said, life and schedule hacks. I'm going to get into that one. But your business, if you're serious, right? If you're serious about wanting to create your dream life, and you're serious about wanting to generate leads and make sales and make money, then your business is not a hobby. And so the first question is, I mean, as a shortcut, are you serious? Are you actually willing to do what it takes? Are you willing to sacrifice for the next 2 months to be able to have a lifestyle that you never thought you would be able to have? right? I mean, some people are not, and that's okay. Some people just like the idea of it, but they don't really want to do the work. So just being honest with yourself. But if you're here and you're like, oh, I want it, right? I want to be around people that know how to do this. I want to be around people that are sharing me what to do. And I want to know what actions to take every day. That's great. Your business is not a hobby then, because you want to work it daily and you want to work it hard, as long as you're making it smart. But like I said here, you want to work it correctly, right? So here's the thing. This is a tactical. That means like to do, right? What are 5 things that you can do daily that will generate income? So you have to figure out what your business is. Where does the money actually come from? Where do the people click the button if it's on the internet to give you money? Or what do you actually do, or where are you if it's an offline business where people are handing you the money? All right, what are your actions to get people to do that? That's a money generating activity. Okay, so what are 5 things that you could do that would actually bring that in? That's important to know, because sometimes people work really hard, but they're not working effectively, right? In the beginning, because some of you said like, well, I'm just getting started, right? In the beginning, you should only be focusing on the activities that are going to get you money. And the reality is that's people. There's no money that can exchange if you're not working or talking with a person. Now, whether that's chatting on the internet, whether that's a phone call, whether it's in person, but in the beginning, there's so many other things that you could be doing to build a business, and you're going to hear about them, which does cause confusion and overwhelm. But in the beginning, you should only be focusing on what is going to bring me money right now. The other stuff can be a distraction, all right? And so in the beginning, if you start to hustle in the beginning, you're going to get momentum. And hustle is do just those 5 things only. If you're in, let's just use network marketing, because a lot of you guys are in network marketing. If you're a network marketing company, where do you make your money? By talking to people and getting them in front of a presentation, video, talk, meeting, right? That's all you should be doing. That's all you should be doing. Now, how do you do that? There's a lot of different ways to do that, but you have to figure out what works best for you. And as soon as you can find that, momentum will start to go fast. That's the key to growing your business. And you have to stay consistent with that, because then there's no momentum. That's a big one right there. And so if you do a little bit and you get some people, doing some stuff, and you're like, oh, wait, that worked. Then you take a break, and then you come back in and do a little bit more, and then you take a break. Actually, a lot of people do this. It's a stop and grow business, a stop and go. It's not stop and grow. That doesn't happen. Stop and go business. It's a lot harder to grow a business that way, a lot harder to do that. So staying consistent is what actually will move you forward. When I got started in internet marketing, my girls were internet marketing, they were about 3, 4, and 6 at the time. So I only had 2.5 hours 3 times a week while they were all in like a preschool or school. That's all I had, 2.5 hours chunks 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I knew that that was my only time that I could actually do anything without them being here or sacrificing sleep or doing anything else. So I had a very, very rigid schedule for those 2.5 weeks or 2.5 hours, and I had no money either. So I built a 6-figure business on a 2.5-hour time block, 3 days a week, because I was consistent. So that's a huge key right there. Anything's possible. When people tell me stuff, I'm like, no. If you want it, you will do it. People will do anything, okay? But taking action does not equal success. It is so easy to be busy, and then you feel productive. Action keeps you feeling busy, and that could make you feel like you kind of did something that day. And then you can talk about how you've been working on your business, and you're working a lot, but you're spinning your wheels and nothing's really working. I had someone tell me the other day, actually it was maybe a little while ago, and they're like, can you please tell me what I'm doing wrong? Hey, will you look at this? Can you tell me what I'm doing wrong? This is not working for me. Like, you'll get that a lot, actually. And then I get to the specifics and I say, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? Because that's where your money's going to come from. What have you done? And then it's crickets, because that's not where they were spending their time. So where's your money page? Where does your money come from? How do you get people there? Focus on that. That's a big one right there. Does that make sense? If you don't know what your money generating activities are, that's a conversation that you'll definitely want to figure out. You know, me doing this right here, a perfect example. I'm not selling anything. The reality is right now, this is not a money generating activity for me. I did some money generating activities earlier today, but I'm not right now. But I can argue the fact that, well, I'm giving out value and I'm putting out stuff. People are going to like it. They might kind of come back to me and say, hey, that's really cool. I want to be part of your team. What is it that you're doing? And then I make some money off of it. That actually can happen very easily. And you can get to the few jumps where it might make you money. Like, well, I'm creating a website right now, and I do need to have a website because eventually I'll be able to get someone to get a lead. And then, right, you can do that in your head, but that's not a money generating activity. So you don't want to fool yourself. It's the thing that you're doing right now. Will it help get you there? If I'm talking to you and you type in here, say, I want to work with you. Send me your link right now. Well, then this would turn into a money generating activity, right? All right. So thank you guys. I think I see your comments in here. I appreciate that. All right, so let's go into number 4, because what time? All right, I'm doing pretty good. All right, number 4, oh yeah, focus on your daily goals. You should have daily goals, by the way. Super little tip right here. How I was able to build my business when I barely had any time is the night before I went to bed, I knew I had 3 things to do that next day, whatever it was. Because if you at least have 3 things that you do the next day, you're going to move forward in your business. So what are your goals? What needs to get done daily? And before you go to bed, figure that out. So that way you have a proactive day. This is a whole other training all on its own. But you don't want to react to your day. You want to create your day. And that makes you in charge of your business. So focus on your daily goals. And I'm glad you guys are getting value. Thank you. All right, number 4. Okay, this will take us into number 4. So now is a little bit of like, well, okay, this sounds good. This is really valuable, but like, how? How do I do that? How do I fit this into my day? And this is probably, like, the people that get this, they understand this. They want to do this. This right now, this one, number 4, starts to be the hindrance. Like, they want to do it, and they have this desire to do it. And then sometimes they go to bed feeling really mad at themselves that they didn't get to what they wanted to do. And the reality, they just need to figure out how to fit it into their life. These are schedule hacks. I wrote a book on time management back in the day. I probably should get that back out. It's a really good book. I just don't sell it anymore. But I have so many tips and tricks because of the fact I have 3 kids. I've built my business. I have so much stuff going on, but yet, how do I get this all done? I get it all done because I'm very effective and I'm efficient in what I do. And so some of these tips and strategies can actually help you. And that's the one thing we asked our team the other day, like, what's the one thing that holds you back? And I actually liked hearing the answer of, I just wish I had the more time, because that's a fixable one. That's actually easy. You're not going to get more than 24 hours in a day, but you don't need more than 24 hours a day. What you do need to do is figure out, where are your hours that you're actually working? And that's what I'm going to talk about. One of my other mentors, he used to tell me, he's like, there's no such thing as time management. He's like, you can't manage time. Time is just a thing. Here we have 24 hours and that's it. You can't manage time. And he's like, what you do is you manage yourself in time. And at the time, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Because he was like knocking me down. I wasn't doing so great. Well, I thought I was doing good. But, and I was like, well, you're just wordsmithing, like whatever. Until I really realized that, well, that's true. You can't, there's no such thing as time management. It's managing yourself. And that goes back to number 1, having complete responsibility for your actions. So what are some schedule hacks? Weekly schedule. Now, I'm about to share something with you that can completely transform your life. Completely. I used to talk in absolutes like this, but I'm telling you right now, if you do this, it'll change your life. If you listen and say, yeah, that's probably pretty good, I can see why that would work, you're gonna stagnate yourself. All right, this is so important. And if you're on my team, I have an awesome training about this, and it's buried because of the fact that there's other stuff you have to do, but this is it. Okay, weekly training. All right, a weekly schedule. You have to create a weekly schedule. You have to. In this day and age, life is, it's so busy because honestly we create it to be so busy, but we're also at the hindrance of the amount of stuff that's thrown on top of us. Most families have 2 people working, you have your kids. A lot of times you now have grandparents taking care of grandkids, you have grandparents in your house. Just getting a fact to like cook your own dinner and sit down as a family, like never even happens anymore. We're just so incredibly busy and we're constantly bombarded by information, right? How many like notifications have just gone off on your phone maybe while we're actually here? I mean, I could look at mine. I only have 2 right now. That's actually great. But things are going to come into place. And I just alluded to it on the other one. If you don't go and create your day the way that you want your day to go, your day will completely get away from you, and you're going to end up at the end of the day going, what did I even do today? How did I not even do any of this? I kind of wanted to get that done, and I had no time. I had no time. That's not what a successful business owner does. A successful business owner who takes responsibility for their actions creates their day. And it starts with a schedule. And there's a specific way to kind of do it. Because like I just said, yes, life will get in the way every chance it can. Like right now, I am like what? I'm a single mom, got 3 kids. So they're at school right now. So I work during the day. But the rest of the stuff that's happening, like it's kind of chaotic. And last time I did this webinar in the evening time, it's not happening today. There's no way, which is why I'm doing it now. But that's because I have like 3 kids that need to be at different places. And then one just texts me like, I need this, I got switched by a class and I need to get this notebook before tomorrow, which means you have to go to the store. And I'm like, okay, we've got a softball, a volleyball. We have someone who she got a job, so she needs to go turn in some paperwork, and now I have to go to the store. All right, that's what's gonna happen to life if you don't set it up in advance. So how can you do that? Time block your schedule. So time block your schedule. So what does this mean? Well, actually, what does this mean? That's the first one. So from when you wake up, again, I have a book on this. I have a training. I have so much stuff on this, right? Here's going to be my little scenario for you because this is so important, all right? So take little notes, like write notes because it's not on here. So when your head gets off your pillow until your head goes back at night, what time is that and what time is that? Those are all of your days, or your times. Those are your entire hours that you are awake. What do you have to do in those hours, right? You got to get up, you got to get your kids ready for school, or you got to get yourself ready for school. You got to sit in traffic. You have to go to your job, or you have to take care of it. Like, you know what you have to do, okay? When people do this correctly, and I don't have the time to really go into this, but when people do this correctly, you almost guarantee you find 2 hours that you didn't even know you had in a day. And if you can find 2 hours that you didn't know what you had in a day, that's an effective 2 hours when you've blocked out what to do in those days. So here's your action task. Do that. Get a calendar, get a piece of paper, and just write your hours down from like 6 all the way until like 11. That's kind of my hours right there. And if you were to look at my calendar right now, I've got time blocks, I've got color codes, I've got this, I've got that. The kids are this color, my work blocks are this color, my personal time is this color, because you know what? If I don't design my day, it's never going to happen, because I could get stuck on Facebook chat the entire day with the amount of people that message me. It just happens, but I'm not going to, right? So time block your schedule, which basically means if you're at work and there's absolutely nothing you can do while you're at work besides work, then that's your work block. If you have an hour for lunch, do you really eat that entire hour, or can you maybe find 20 minutes to answer some messages or to reach out to people? Could you maybe do that, right? When you're driving someplace, can you be listening to your personal development at that time? So being aware of the hours that you have and then blocking them off for the actual hours that you want to be doing stuff. And then in your work block hours, what are you actually doing in those hours? That's how this becomes successful. So your time blocks, these are the different time blocks that you should have on a daily basis, or at least a couple times a week if you can't maybe do it every day. So at some point every day, this is ideal, or at least, you know, a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Saturday or Sunday, you want to have a personal development training block. That means you go to YouTube because it's free and you don't have money to buy this stuff, and you listen to trainings, you listen to motivational stuff, or you're part of a team, or you're part of a group that has training for you. It's all about mindset, talking to yourself. That's personal development training. That is something that has to happen if you're going to reach out of your comfort zone to be able to go do the stuff that you have to do. Nobody becomes successful using the same employee mindset that got them to where they're unhappy. They have to be able to go out, and that happens with personal development mindset training, okay? Sometimes that's just motivation too. So the next one, learning your craft training. If you are a business owner and you need to learn how to market because you realize that you make money when someone sees your sales page, right? And you don't know how to get someone to go see the sales page, then that's learning your craft, okay? What do you have to do to get better? I usually call this getting better time, honestly. That's just the easiest way to learning your craft. Number 3, You have to create something. Your value in this world is coming back to you with creation. I'm creating value for you guys right now, right? So I'm actively creating content. Actually, right now I'm just talking about the content that I actively created a little while ago. What does that look like? Now, this is for internet marketing specifically, but like writing emails, creating websites, posting on social media, ad creation. Technically, not all of those are money generating activities, but that's a creation aspect. The amount of money that you make is equal to the value that you are giving out. How much value do you give out? If you're not sharing and you're not giving out value, don't expect a whole bunch of it to come back to you, because then you're going to go back to number one and be like, I'm doing everything that they say and it's just not working. You got to take 100% responsibility. So actively creating something to start building an audience, right? You need to also always be following up. Doesn't matter what kind of business that you have, you follow up with the people that are interested. You follow up with your prospects, you follow up with your clients, you follow up with your customers, because what does that give you? Sales. If you have sales, you should be following up with the people that bought, help them to maybe buy the next thing that you offer, help them to use the product. You're following up with people. One of the other things, we want a well-rounded life. This is not just about business, because if you make a bunch of money and you got nothing except for your business, you're not a happy person. We don't want that. We want a nice round wheel of life. And so the first one's there, you know, you're working on your mind, you're working on bettering yourself, you're actually working on your business, but you can't forget about your family. You can't forget about the relationships that you have and your personal self to have some fun. And guess what, guys? If you don't put it on your schedule, it usually will not happen, because that, for me, was always the last thing that happened. Me taking time to have some fun was like unheard of years ago, because all I wanted to do was work on my business, and any spare moment that I had was kids, family, business. And me, I was last. But guess what? That'll take a toll on you. So make sure you have some part in there. Maybe it's not every day, or maybe it's just 15 minutes to go outside in the shade, sit down, and just feel the breeze on your face, because it's your decompression time. Schedule it in. Make it part of your lunch hour or something, okay? Number 6, and that's number 6 is a personal time. Like working out, that is definitely something that should be in your schedule. If you're trying to make money with your mind, which in all honesty, if you have a business that is not like creating like jewelry or you're building something, you're usually making money with your mind. Like this right here, I created it, came from my mind. If your mind doesn't have mental health because you haven't worked out and you're not feeding it good nutrition and your muscles are just kind of, you know, sitting there, that actually takes a toll on your brain. So working out is really good. Relaxing so you don't have anxiety, that stuff is actually important, and you have to build it into your schedule. And then I think the next one is the daily habit. I don't think I have, how much time do I have? Yeah, I don't want to get into it deep on this one right here, but you might want to Google this, because I'm not going to go into this story. I taught this story on stage in Phoenix a long time ago, and I love this story, but it's at least like 10 minutes. I'm not going to talk about it. But if you go Google scientist upside down goggles, right? You'll go see the story. But basically, it's fascinating. It's fascinating what your brain does. That's what actually got me into brain psychology and brain, like just learning is so fascinating, was the story right here. But the reality is, and kind of the gist of it is, it takes 21 days for your neurons that are in your brain to just rewire. So if you do, like if you say, okay, I'm gonna do this schedule. This is great. I love it. Right? Brenda told me that I'm gonna do this, and you sit there and you do it, and you have your whole block, and you did it for an entire week, and you're like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And then the next week it kind of starts to fade away, and you didn't do that, and you didn't do that, and then the third week, by the time you get to that, like you barely did any of it. That's kind of normal, because you have neurons that are kind of keeping you in your comfort zone. Your brain is not designed to have you go out and succeed. Your brain is still designed to keep you safe, and going out and doing stuff is not going to keep you safe. There's unknown out there. It's very primitive. And so your neurons are keeping you safe. They like to keep you doing the same exact thing. That's why it's so hard for you to go and create a new habit. It takes 21 days, 30 ideally, which is why we always teach 30. But with the scientists, it's proven that it's 21 days to rechange the neurons in your brain so that you can do something different. So you got to go for something for 30 days, because otherwise it's just not going to stick. Okay? So that is a number 4, schedule hacks for success. Now the next two, I actually talked a little bit about on my last training. So I don't want to get too in depth on them, but if you weren't there, I'll talk about them. The next thing is, if you really want to succeed, the shortcut for one, you got to believe in what you are actually selling. For a transaction to take place, you're selling, right? So your product, whatever it is, product or service, whatever you're getting paid for, that's a vehicle to solve their problem. They got a problem, they want to lose some weight, you got this cool thing here, right? They don't have any money and you have an opportunity for them. Well, this is how they can make the money. That's a problem, right? So you personally have to really feel morally good about the product that you're selling. You have to. So if you're not feeling, really good about that, you're not going to have the success that you want. It's just not going to happen. So the product or service that you have, it must benefit the person in a specific way. And I think that's kind of common sense. But sometimes people come into an industry, or this is usually home-based business industry, because you want the hope of the better life. And whatever product that you were introduced to, it sounds great. And then as you get into it, maybe you start to lose some of the belief that you might have had. And so this will happen. You'll have a moral dilemma that's going to actually hold you back. I've definitely coached people in this scenario. Bob is definitely someone I talked about, but he was doing everything right, His numbers were great. I coached him. I finally got on the phone and I was like, dude, what are you saying? Because he was losing the sale when he finally talked to the person, and he told me, and I was like, oh my gosh, you don't believe in what you're selling. And it came out and he was like, well, not really. And I was like, well, then you're never going to be successful, dude, ever. Like, you got to go find a different product, or you got to rewire your brain, because this is never going to work. So if you don't 1000% really believe what you have is going to better people's life. Now, there might be other products out there that are similar or close, or maybe it's not going the way that you want, but if you love it and you have passion about it, that will take you a lot farther than something that costs, $2,000 and you get a good commission on it, right? Because people say you got to be crazy to be in this industry. Well, it's because you're going to have all these roadblocks sometimes, and you have to have enough passion to push you through that. If you don't believe in what you've got, it's going to hold you back. So if you're in the industry right now, which most of you guys are, if you're listening to me, we are selling financial freedom, time freedom, a hope for a better future. That's really why people get into the home-based business industry. Now, you may be on here and that's not what you're in. I had someone message me just a little while ago that they have a Spotify store that they're trying to get people to go to, and they just need to learn marketing. But most people that are following me, it's for this. We want to hope for a better future. I didn't even really say much on the beginning, but I took 12 vacations last year. Last week wasn't really a vacation, as I went to North Dakota, but again, it was like another trip. I was able to be like, I'm going, absolutely, no matter what, I don't care, because I have the time freedom and I have the financial freedom to do that. Life becomes amazing. So what I was gonna say, I think that's like 8 trips now that I've taken just this year. And so it is an amazing life. It's wonderful to be able to do this. I'm going to San Diego next month, and the month after that, or November, I'm going to Iceland. Like, this stuff is amazing to be able to do that. And so you have to encompass the happiness to be able to help people do that. But if you don't feel like your product or service is going to get them there, then there's an issue there. So this is for a different slide, and I just realized I didn't take that off. So we like to use internet marketing to help people be able to do all of this stuff. So yeah, I do that. All right, let's go to number 6. Okay, so what are some of these products that actually sell best? This is a shortcut. It's a shortcut because not everything sells exactly right. Some products, they're just better than others to sell on the internet. And the reason I say on the internet is because I like to leverage, right? It's literally why I'm streaming. I like to leverage my time. And to be able to have a business where I am out and about a lot that actually makes money at the same time, I need to leverage the internet. I just have to. I think it's an easier way to do stuff. My business happens 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whatever I'm doing. Like, you could be watching this and it's not live, and I could be chilling out with my girls, right? You don't know. So I love products that allow you to leverage the internet. It's just easier that way. I'm not saying you have to. It's just easier. We're still in the information age. We're trying to get out of the information age because people are sick of it. We're craving wisdom. Knowledge is everywhere. That's not true. Information is everywhere, not knowledge. So people will pay very well for the knowledge and the wisdom that you can bring to something. So that's a question there. Whatever you're selling, your product or service, where are you in that process? Because people really aren't buying that, they're buying you. All right. One of the reasons on our team we became one of the fastest growing teams is because people didn't care what it was that we were selling. They just wanted to be with us because they knew of our expertise. That's really cool. And so maybe you're not there yet, but you can eventually get there, right? I love internet products because there's no distribution, there's no inventory. I've always liked that. But right now, if you're selling an informational product, you got to differentiate yourself because there's a new reputation that's just unfortunately has happened in the last like 2 years or so. A lot of information is being watered down. People are, I mean, I'm not selling for a reason because I was like, I just want to actually give good value because it's not out there anymore. And so there's watered down information, but I'm not watering this stuff down. This is the stuff that actually can change your life. And I'm doing it because I want to be able to help people. So if you do have a digital information product, is it really good? Is it going to better their life? Or are they going to feel kind of like, all right, I don't know. Is that really worth $97, right? So keeping that in mind, also as a shortcut, man, try not to create your product in the beginning. Be an affiliate, promote something else because there's such a headache when you create your own product, not with just the creation, but then also with the marketing and then with the technology and then with the deliverable. There's a lot that goes into it. I used to coach people on how to do that. That was one of our $5,000 products and teaching people how to create their own stuff. And it's really great, but if you don't have experience as, promoting something else first, there's too many hurdles. It's just not a great way to have success. But once you do have success, you can always go and create your own product. That's actually something that's really cool. One of the reasons I've had a lot of my own products. But you want to find something that's unique and people already want it. If you have to convince somebody why they want what you're trying to sell, you can do it, but they might end up feeling sold, which makes your refund rate go higher. Or it just is a harder thing to do. Like, wouldn't it be easier if you're actually talking about something that people already want? So just kind of consider that with whatever it is that you're promoting. Knowledge is very valuable. I did talk about that. Like, information's everywhere. My girls they're in 7th, 8th, and 10th grade now. Like, they're getting so old. It's fascinating to me. Like, they use the internet for all of their homework. Most of the time, the teachers are now using their phones in the classroom because why not? Because they need to learn how to do that. Information is everywhere. And it kind of boggles my mind when I get people that ask me questions and I'm like, wouldn't that be really cool if there was a place like a Google that could answer that for you? Like, you can get any answer you want instantaneously. So the information is out there, but knowledge and wisdom, that is super valuable. So if you have knowledge or wisdom that you can share, people pay top dollar for that, right? For that kind of stuff. Electricians, lawyers, doctors, they have the knowledge. That's why they're so expensive. But this little story is like a 45-second story. I loved it because it explains this concept so well. There's a guy who had his washing machine was broken. He couldn't get it to work. There was water kind of stuck inside there, and that's just gross, right? He brings the plumber out. The plumber looks at it. He kind of, moves some wires around, and then he lifts his leg and he like kicks it right in this like little corner in the back. And all of a sudden, the water starts draining from the washing machine how it's supposed to, and the controls work and stuff. And the guy's like, all right, it's fixed. It's like $250 for the bill. And the man was like so upset. He's like, what are you talking about? You didn't do anything. You just kicked it. Like, I could have done that for free. And the plumber's like, well, you need to know where to kick it. And I love that because that's so true. People will pay top dollar if they know, if you know something that they don't know. So the reason I say this is just in the shortcut, whatever product or service or business that you have, remember, they're not buying that per se. They're also buying you and what you have to offer. So where is your expertise? And if you don't feel like you have any because you're brand new, that's just a mindset thing. Everybody has an expertise in something, and people will pay for that, right? So the last thing I just kind of threw in here, if we're talking about products that sell best, this is a shortcut. It's a shortcut to help you make more money. Having a good product will really help with that. But if we're talking about making more money, commissions, the commissions that you earn, they need to be frequent. And a lot of times if you are an affiliate, and so I don't want to say you have to stay away from this, but I've just been in many situations, like you'll make a sale and then you have to wait for the 30-day refund period, and then you have to wait until they actually pay out, which is usually like the 30th or the 15th of the month. And there's a good chance that you made a sale and you don't even get that money for like 45 days. And that's a rough way to be able to build your business. It's way better if you can have commissions coming in, weekly or every other week. That just gives you the capital to be able to go and spend a little bit more like on your advertising or put back into the business to be able to scale it a little bit faster. So that's kind of why I put that in there. Money like speed, if you get paid often, or you get residual income, heck yeah, that's always better. That changes your life a lot faster. All right, so before I go into 7, you guys liking this? You guys getting some value? Has this been helpful for you? How's our time? All right, I'm gonna get good. We're down to 7 right here. All right, these are rookie mistakes, and I'm flipping it here. These are, okay, thanks for your comments, appreciate that. Yeah, don't make these rookie mistakes. So these are some things that we see that just hinder people, and you just want to be aware of them, because again, if you're not aware of them, then maybe you might be doing them, and because these happen a lot, all right? If you're a small business owner, and the reality is that's what we are. If you've got a product that you're selling, whether it's yours or it's not, you're a small business. That's what you're doing. Well, small business owners are 100% marketers. If you don't have a marketing team that goes out and promotes your stuff for you, you need to be a marketer, and you need to consider yourself a marketer, not just a business owner. And you may not even associate saying, well, I'm not a business owner. I'm not even an entrepreneur. I just want to sell some stuff so I can make some extra money. Right? Well, that's a mindset. How much money do you want to make? You got to have to strive out there a little bit. But here's the thing. If you don't learn marketing, your business isn't going to go anywhere. And marketing is almost becoming like a lost art, because the information is just bombarding us. And you have to figure out how to get out of all of this stuff so you can actually get to the person so they will finally actually see what you have. It's becoming a new skill level, and it's way more competitive than it used to be. So you've got to make sure that you're on the cutting edge, or you're not going to have the success that you want. Realize that you are an actual marketer, okay? So here, that was being said just because of the fact that I just see it too often. If you're not spending any of your time and energy learning how to market, learning how to effectively post on social media, if you don't have money and you want to use it for free, you should be using the super platforms. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, those are the super platforms. You are right up there with Coca-Cola, right? And you don't have to spend billions of dollars for people to see you, but you do have to learn how to do it correctly, or no one's going to actually engage with you. So you want to be learning how to do that. If you don't know how to do a paid advertising where you can actually put your message out in front of someone, that's something you should probably want to learn how to do. It doesn't have to be expensive, but you'll find yourself saying, going in circles and be like, I don't really know what to do. I don't have any more people to talk to. And so you want to be able to learn that stuff, and that's marketing, okay? So these are some mistakes to kind of stay away from, switching gears here. If you are marketing, which you want to learn how to do, I see this a lot, spending too much time focusing on your site. How pretty does it look? If you have this, working on a website can waste so much time and energy, and you don't want to do it, all right? You want to look on how effective it actually is, not how pretty it is. I see people spending so much money with designers. Designers are not marketers. They may make your page look pretty, but if there's no place in there where someone can contact you easily, or they could become a lead and put their information in easily, it's not effective, and then you're not going to earn your money back, right? So don't focus on that. Focus exactly on what is working to make it effective. I already think I talked about this, but don't try to create everything from scratch. You don't want to. Your business is selling pretty well. If it is, just figure out where you can insert yourself into the equation, but don't create everything from scratch if you're not already making much money. Once you start making money and you understand your system, then you can kind of branch out and start doing more. Rookie mistake, getting distracted with all of the options that are out there to build your business. There are, what did I just say? I said Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. But I wouldn't go on all 3 if you don't really understand how to use them yet, because all 3 are done differently. Focus on one area, and once that's working, then branch out. This is probably the biggest one I see most often. People just trying to be everywhere and doing a mediocre job of it. Don't do that. Find one thing that's working, focus on that, and when you start making money and you start generating your leads, you're making your sales and it's working, then go and build beyond that, okay? Number 4, this is speaking directly to the marketing side of you. Maybe you don't have to do that. If you have a marketing team, great. But if you aren't working with people that are paying attention to these things, you want to be. You got to know your numbers. So basically, you know, if you're using internet stuff and you're sending people to your website, how effective is that actual website? Are you sending people to a video? How effective is that actual video? So how many people see it versus how many people like buy, or how many people fill out an application, or how much money did you spend on an ad versus how much did you actually make? Like, knowing that kind of stuff. This is the stuff that I spend a lot of time on personally for me, because if you don't know your numbers, you don't really know how well your business is doing. Like, great, I've got some Facebook ads out right now that are actually getting super quality leads for about $2 right now. That's awesome. But if I'm not getting any buyers from that, it's not that cool. Like, if I'm getting a $5 lead and that's where all my buyers come from, well, heck, I'd pay $5 every day for a buyer versus the $2 that I may be getting just for a lead. But if you don't know how to check that, then you're just throwing stuff on the wall and seeing what works and have no idea. So that gets into some complicated internet marketing stuff. But if you're not looking at that, are you working with people that actually are? That's kind of important, okay? Because you want to know that when you sit down to do stuff, it's actually going to work. That's nice to know. Okay, this happens a lot in the beginning, and I get it because you're new coming into an industry. But if you're working on the internet and you want to hide behind it and just do some of those ads and not get out there and try to talk or do a video, I get that. But in this day and age, you'll build your business a lot easier and faster if you get out of your comfort zone and go out in front of people and just talk. That takes practice, but it works way better. The people that have success faster are the ones that are willing to kind of get out and do some Facebook Lives. That's like super scary, right? But hey, if you're just going to get out there, there was an older lady, and I didn't know who she was, but she did a joke every single morning on Facebook, a little live video. It was like 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes. And she just kept showing up on my Facebook every single morning. I got to learn her name. I liked her little jokes. And she started to build this following. And it was so cool because I don't know if she ever sold anything. I never went to go look at that. But all she did was tell a joke a day. And she gained this huge following because of it, right? You just got to start somewhere. And that's just a cool story. I talked about this one as number 1. But this is a reason that a lot of people it's their rookie mistake. They blame everybody else for the results that they're not getting. This didn't happen. I didn't get this because of this. This is not going the way that I expected. You know what? This is not for me. I don't want to do this. And putting it out on other people. So we don't want to do that. And number 7, just not being genuine in your marketing. There's a fake it till you make it concept. And in this day and age, it just doesn't work anymore. People can tell. We're very used to like reality TV and live where you can't really go out there and fake stuff or Photoshop it or whatever. So transparency really is key. And so you want to make sure that you're being genuine in your marketing, and learning how to do this just takes place by actually doing stuff. Okay? All right, well, I got a storm that's happening out here, so hopefully my internet comes up. So just to recap right here. So the first one was your number 1 belief that determines success, 100% responsibility. That is the shortcut, and it seems like common sense, but believe me, it's not. Number 2, it's not luck, it was this. That's allowance, allowing these things to come to you, saying positive thoughts and feeling them. If you want to make $5,000 by next month, start talking to yourself about it. Ask yourself these questions. I wonder how $5,000 is going to come next month. I can't wait until the $5,000 hits my bank account. And you see $5,000 coming in. This is the allowance stuff that I used to think was freaking fluff. It's not. I almost want to say like it's ironclad truth because I've tested it enough. Number 3, hustle versus action. Making sure that you're treating your business as a business and not a hobby, and what you're working on are money generating activities, okay? It's not just taking action. That is not what you want. You're hustling in the correct direction to gain momentum. Number 4, time block. Making sure that you know when you're going to be working, and if you've blocked out 10 to 12. What are you doing every day from 10 to 12? So making sure those time blocks are actually effective. The confidence test, right? Shortcut. Do you believe in what you're selling? Do you fully 100% believe that you're bettering somebody's life? Because if you're not, it's not, well, it is a shortcut, because if you're not, you're going to have a lot of problems succeeding with that. The products that sell the best, if you have leverage where you can leverage others' time, others' energy, leverage the internet, and getting commissions coming to you on a consistent, quick basis, that's what's going to help for that. And number 7, the rookie mistakes, obviously learning your marketing knowledge or being a part of people that are helping you with the marketing knowledge, okay? So those are your 7 shortcuts to success, all right? Question for you now, how many of these can you check off your list? How many of these 7 things are you like, yep, I got that, yep, I got that, yep, I got, probably not all of them. And how many of these are you like, wow, that was really cool, I'm gonna work on that. I've got a little note that I'm gonna start doing that. I have 4 alarms that go off on my phone every single day. The reason, they're random times, I don't even remember what I set them for, they go off every day. One of them is grateful time. It pops off, and whatever I do, I stop. It says, it's grateful time. My kids know what it means. They hear it. They're like, oh, I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for, because why? Because these are some things that help you. The other 3 things, they say abundance thought. It just goes off, and it says abundance thought. I'm like, oh, right. Okay, I'm attracting this. Okay, you got to do these things, and it's not something that I ever remembered to do, and I wanted to do it, so great. I put an alarm on my phone to help remind myself to do that, okay? So just kind of be thinking of where you are and where your business, if you don't have a business, when you're looking for people to work with, when you're looking for parts of the businesses, these are some of the things that you want to keep in mind. And so what's the best way for you to achieve all of these? Don't create everything for yourself in the beginning. Have a system that you can plug yourself into, and especially if you're in the type of marketing business where you're referring other people to it, then you want to be able to have a system where everybody can come into play. And if you made 10 sales that day, you're not going to freak out because you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to deal with that? You want to have a nice duplicated system that's working for you, because that's your leverage, right? You want to have weekly interaction with mentors and with peers, right? If you can't even fathom how you could have $1 million day and you don't know anybody else that would think that way either, you're hindering your success. You want to be around those people, listening and learning from them. And if that just means buying a personal development and listening to them in your ear for a little bit, then that's what that means. But if you can get around people that are like this, very, very helpful, as well as peers, people that are at your same level, that are having the same, struggles or doubts that you're having. That's always nice to be aware that, you're not feeling alone in that. A process to hold you accountable, right? That's actually really helpful, making sure that you have something or someone helping you move through. And of course, the marketing training. So if you've got this awesome, business that you really like and people that you're working with, but you have no idea how to create an ad or how to have an effective ad for this to actually work properly, then that's something that you would want to make sure that you have, okay? That's what we have. That's why this slide is in here. So if you find yourself, hey, wow, I don't have any of that, or I would like that, I'm just encouraging you. This is stuff that we do. We are building a team. We do have live trainings. We have internet trainings. This is our team right here with the Mavericks. We're the fastest growing team in our company because I decided I wanted to build a really cool company that's teaching people how to use the internet, because that's what we do. And I've created our entire team training site. So if you don't have this and you're interested in learning more, then I encourage you to just get back to the person that brought you here, because we do this all completely for free when you're on our team or with any of our team members that brought you here. So we've got, this is some of my other slides. We have a lot of people on our team that are having success. We're going to San Diego next month. Really super excited about that right there. You have an opportunity to get it for free, honestly. They're doing a giveaway, as well as if you have some other people that want to go, there's a way to actually get that completely for free, which is pretty cool. So I added these in here because I don't want to ever put this information out there and then not give someone an avenue to be like, well, I want to learn a little bit more. Wow, that sounds kind of good. And so I would love to invite you to learn more about what we do, be a part of our team. If some of the stuff that I said to you today in this training has been valuable for you and you're not in a position where you could take advantage of them. Because for you to have success in your business, those are definitely some of the 7 shortcuts that will really actually help you get to where you want to be. Okay, so how well did I do? Okay, a little over an hour. I was hoping to keep this at an hour. I wasn't sure how long it was going to be because I haven't actually done this out loud yet. So thank you for hanging out with me. Get back to the person that brought you here. If you are interested in learning more about being on our team, we have a lot of people, and we have a lot of people that are going to go to San Diego. We got our shirts going out there, which is pretty cool. You can always email me at brenda@results513.com. That is my personal email address if you have any questions. And to save time, I'm basically just going to not go into this because I left it here, but over to the right is our wonderful little stream of the path of least resistance. All right, you can go to the left and go up and down those rocks, and I did that for so many years, and all I needed to do was pivot. I meet a few people that helped me pivot to the other side, and my business just opened up, and money and wealth and abundance just came with it. So I encourage you that if you feel like a pivot, this might be it. Other than that, I want to thank you for being here. I would love to hear some of your comments, one of your takeaways right now. That would be the best thing that I could have right now from you, that for listening, is to just write in either the chat box or if you're on live stream, you know, comment below, even if you're on the replay, what was one of the takeaways that you had from this. There was a lot, right? I kind of went very big overview. Every one of those could easily be a training all on its own. And I'm going to be doing more trainings, probably not as in-depth right now, but I definitely wanted to kind of get out there and give some good value. So I want to thank you guys for being here. Thanks for the comments inside of Zoom here. Great stuff. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So let me see if I can pull out of... okay, yeah, I can do that. So I'm going to pull over some of these things. All right. So the replay is actually going to be, I live streamed, well, if it worked, I live streamed this on Facebook on my fan page. And so I'm hoping that it actually worked because it just was spinning for me when I checked, but I just wanted to keep going. But I do have it recorded, so the replay will go out. So Lynn, so you had no knowledge of all of these except for budgeting your time. So everything else seems so awesome. Well, great. I'm really helpful. I'm really glad that that was helpful for you. So you're going to start implementing. Yeah, that's the best thing that you could do. Take at least one thing from here and implement it, because you're not going to be able to go out and implement all of it. I mean, unless you're like Superwoman, Superman, you can maybe do that. But the one thing that will just really help you is just taking action on something here. So absolutely. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, Leslie, I'll do that. Thank you for getting, but absolutely, Ray. Better insight into your business. Perfect comment right there. Better insight. Self-awareness is super key. Super, super key. Being aware of what you're doing, what you're thinking, why you're doing what you're doing, and can you improve? If you're asking yourself those questions, you're going to have a lot better insight, and you'll be able to help other people as well, because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing here. So thanks so much for your comments, guys. Thanks for hopping here. I'm going to kind of flip over and see if everything worked out on Facebook. And if it did, come back and look at your comments and stuff. So get back to the person that brought you here. If you're interested in learning more about what we do have a business opportunity. We do have a team. We have a lot of training. I stopped coaching specifically to build this team and working with all of our teammates. So I am excited for all the awesome stuff that we have. So thanks for being here. Brenda Gagne, and I will see you around, right? Actually, wait, I'm sharing my screen. So here we go. Yeah, so there we go. I didn't realize that I was still sharing my screen. So thanks so much for being here, and I will chat with you guys later. And, ooh, look at all these things popping in here. Yep, yep. All right, awesome, guys. Thanks so much. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.